Hello, students. Welcome to our Read Aloud. Before the break, we were learning about famous American and famous Virginian George Washington. We read a couple of biographies, right? Stories about his whole life. We also read a couple of books about interesting aspects of his life, like George Washington and the General's Dog, where we learned that he really liked animals, especially dogs. We also read a fun and a little bit a sad story about George Washington's teeth, about how he always had so much trouble with his teeth over the course of his life. Today we're going to read another fun one. It's called Dear Mr. Washington. And it's the story of what it might have been like when George Washington went to the home of a famous portraitist, right? An artist who paints portraits of famous people to get his portrait done. And I think it's going to involve some kids and their rascally behavior. These are the children of the artist. I see a little girl, a little boy, a dog, a little baby chewing a shoe. And George does not look happy. And there's the artist. And then on the back is just ink and a quill pen. Remember, in the old days, they didn't have regular pens. They used feathers that were sharp at the tip, and they would dip them in the ink. I'm wondering why it shows a pot of ink and a quill pen. I guess we'll find out in a minute. Here we go. Dear Mr. Washington. Oh, well, let's think about the title. Maybe somebody's writing letters to George Washington. I'm making a connection to the letters that were written to Abraham Lincoln by young people. Yes, I see. Look, here's a letter. Oh, there's a little picture of a dog. There's a girl's little hat, a little cap from colonial times. And this says rules of good behavior. Ooh, I'm remembering how we read that George Washington was really big on good behavior when he was young, how he practiced his writing by copying rules of good behavior into a book. Let's see. Dear Mr. Washington by Lynn, Cullen. Pictures by Nancy Carpenter. And there I see the children outside looking in at George Washington. And there's the dog chasing the cat. I think there's going to be some action in this too. Oh my goodness gracious, there's the first page. The first picture. So there's the artist. There's the cat climbing on George Washington's shoulder. The dog pulling the ribbon on his ponytail. The little girl tripping over the carpet. The baby chewing the chair. The boy swinging from the curtains. Oh my. Looks like kind of a disaster. And the dad doesn't looks like, oh my gosh. George does not look happy. Here we go. Oh, this must be the aftermath, the cleaning up after what we saw on this page. Look at all the, they must have gotten paint all over too. Here we go. 1st April, 1796. Dear Mr. Washington, I am sorry for what happened to your hair ribbon when you came to our house for Father to paint your picture. James and I did not mean for our cat to race up your shoulder. Kitty was just playing with Dash. Dash is our dog. I have drawn a picture of him for you. Oh, wow. So the book is written as if the girl is writing letters to George Washington. Let's see. And baby John did not mean to chew your ribbon. It only got a little wet. James and I just wanted to see if what Father said was true, that he could not get you to smile for your picture. You were not smiling when James and I saw you, not even when we gave you back your ribbon. Thank you for sending James and me the book. They are good rules, and I am copying them down, just like you said you did as a boy. I am teaching them to James, so you will come back, though they seem to fly straight out of his head when he is around baby John. Okay. And she's copying out the rules of good behavior. I guess George Washington sent them the book. Oh, this is interesting. Here they are. Rules of good behavior for boys and girls. Number 1, do not be a peacock looking to see how nicely your shoes and stockings fit and how handsome you are. Number 2, Do not run in the streets, nor go too slowly with your mouth open. Oh, what could happen? Nor shake your arms, nor kick the earth, nor go upon your toes in a dancing fashion. Number 3, if in the company of someone important, walk behind him, but in a manner that he may easily speak to you. Number 4, make no show in taking great delight in your food. Number 5, put not another bite into your mouth until the first is swallowed. Let not your morsels be too big for the jowls, nor talk with your mouth full. Number 6, do not wiggle in the sight of others, nor gnaw your nails, nor speak louder than ordinary. Number 7, do not kill fleas, lice, and ticks in the sight of others. If you see one upon your companion, pull it off privately. If it is upon your own clothes, thank him who pulls it off. Number 8, do not be curious to know the business of others. Number 9, do not look glad at the misfortune of another. Number 10, show nothing to your friend that will frighten. So rule number 7 about ticks, fleas, and lice. Nowadays, we don't have this problem as much, but in colonial times, it was pretty common to have problems with fleas. Also, people were in close contact with animals, so ticks, you could get ticks easily. We do still sometimes have problems with lice in school, but not usually with most people. Certainly not with grown-ups. So I got to stop and think for a minute. These are all the rules she's copying out from the book that George Washington sent them, right? And some of the rules sound familiar to us, right? Things like, don't run in the street, don't have your mouth open, hanging open. But some of them are a little different because in the old days they had a more different idea about how adults and children should act. Things were more strict. Also, they had ideas really that some people were more important than others. Now we value everyone, even though there are important people like our own president, right? So that's why they would have a rule like this, that you might walk a little bit behind someone who is very important. Oh, don't chew with your mouth open. We still have that rule, don't we? And some of these are about being kind, like you shouldn't be nosy in other people's business, or you shouldn't be happy if someone gets hurt or something bad happens to them, and you shouldn't try to frighten your friends, right? Okay, let's continue. In no time, I am sure James and I will have learned all these rules. I hope so, for Mother says until then we get no pudding after dinner. And James and I love chocolate custard, even more than baby John loves chewing on shoes. I hope you will come back soon so Father can finish your picture. You do not have to smile if you do not want to, but if you did, you would look very nice. Sincerely, Charlotte Stewart. Oh, they're not getting any dessert until they learn to behave better. Oh, a return trip. Look at this. So there's Washington out in his carriage arriving. I think she might be saying, he's here, and everybody's scrambling. 8th of April, 1796. Dear Mr. Washington, James and I were so glad when you came back to our house today. Father will paint such a pretty picture of you, if only you will smile. James and I thought if we were very, very good, it might make you happier, so we followed the rules very carefully. Though Mother gave James new stockings for your visit, he would not look at them. When we saw your carriage approach, we came slowly as we could, with our arms tight at our sides and our mouths shut. See, they're trying to follow the rules. We followed you into the house, far enough behind, so that you could not see us, but we could hear you speak. What is a scallywag? Oh, a scallywag is like a rascal. I guess he called him a rascal. When Mother served coffee and cakes, we were so very polite. We only ate such a little bit. Even baby John sucked quietly on your shoe. I quietly picked off my own fleas. James did not try to see how many, and he did not even laugh when I grew very itchy. James could have shown me the spider hanging over my head, making me jump with fright, but he did not. We were so good we were all soon fast asleep, even you. Father is not happy. He says the picture will never be finished at this rate.
So I ask again, Mr. Washington, won't you please come back? We are getting better at the rules every day, and I know your picture will be very, very, very nice, even if you never smile again. Your friend, Charlotte. Oh, they were so good it wore them all out. 15th April 1796. Dear Mr. Washington, James and I could not believe it when your carriage arrived today. Mother did not tell us you were coming. She had told us to play all we wanted, far, far away, and to take Baby John and Dash. Imagine our surprise when we came back because Baby John got hungry. And there you were.
Do you think it was a coincidence that the mom sent them to play far, far away and didn't tell them the president was coming?
We wanted to show you how much we had learned, so that is why we insisted on giving you your refreshments. We were quite good, don't you think? Until Baby John wanted to see what was in the bowl and dumped strawberry punch all over himself. This is what comes of being curious about the business of others. But then James, who should have known better, forgot the rules and laughed at Baby John's misfortune. Then I, knowing that James had broken the rules and ruined your chances of ever smiling, told him father would put him out of the house forever, without Dash.
Oh, they're all breaking the rules because they're all so upset at each other.
That gave James such a fright that he instantly began crying until Dash howled and Kitty ran and hid and Baby John broke into a loud, loud wail. What could I do but put Baby John on my back and play horsey, bucking and whinnying until Baby John laughed? So glad was I to make Baby John laugh, for a minute I forgot you were there. Then I remembered. You were smiling. You put me in mind of my favorite horse, you said, stung by a honeybee. Oh, they finally got George to smile. Now Father's picture is finished. It looks very, very, very nice, but maybe you will like the picture I am sending even better. It is the best horse I can do. I hope you are still smiling. Love, Charlotte. And there she is drawing a horse picture and writing to him. And that's the finished portrait. The end. And in fact, since we got to do something, let's go back and look. This is what the illustrator put for the portrait, and this is the real famous portrait that was done by the portrait painter named Gilbert Stuart. So this is based on what really happened, based on something that really happened that is true, but of course it's from the imagination of the author to have written the letters that the little girl was writing to Washington about how they were trying so hard to get better and better in their behavior to make him come back, but also they were hoping that he would smile to make a good portrait. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed Dear Mr. Washington. Don't forget to keep washing your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.